Once upon a time, in a kingdom known for its grand balls and even grander carriages, lived a king and Queen Rolf and Lelia. Now, Queen Lelia was a woman of exquisite taste and even more exquisite senses. This wasn't a choice, it was a matter of royal lineage. You see, Lelia was a direct descendant of the famed princess who once felt a tiny pea through 20 mattresses. But while her ancestors' sensitivity was in her back, Lelia's was squarely in her nose. Her sense of smell was so refined, she could tell you the vintage of a wine from 3 rooms away and identify the specific field where a flower was picked just by its aroma. It was a gift, mostly, but sometimes it was a royal pain. One bright morning, a gilded invitation arrived. The king and queen were summoned to a magnificent ball in a kingdom so far away, the journey would take 3 full days by carriage. King Rolf was thrilled. He loved a good road trip, if you could call it that, with stops for fine food and admiring the countryside. Lelia, however, was already planning. For her, a long journey wasn't about the destination, but about managing the sensory environment of the carriage. The jostling she could handle, the endless scenery she enjoyed, but the air inside their mobile castle had to be perfect. The carriage must be prepared with the utmost care, she announced to the head of the household staff. And most importantly, my travel pillow. It must be perfect. She held up a single, delicate finger. I want it to smell of nothing but clean linen and fresh air. No perfumes, no powders, not even a whisper of a floral sachet. Is that understood? My nose requires neutrality. The staff, well acquainted with the Queen's olfactory precision, nodded in unison. The order was clear. Pure, unadulterated air was the only scent permitted near Her Majesty's pillow. The task of preparing the royal bedding fell to Agnes, the royal laundress. Agnes was a woman of great experience and even greater intentions. She'd been laundering the royal linens since Lelia was a princess, and she adored her queen. Recently, however, Agnes had been exploring the world of aromatherapy. She'd heard whispers of Lelia's pre-travel anxieties and, in her heart of hearts, wanted to help. Poor dear, she'd mumbled to herself, so worried about the long ride. She needs to relax. Remembering the Queen's sensitivity, a well-meaning but disastrous idea bloomed in Annis's mind. The usual faint scent might not be enough, she reasoned. What she needs is something truly calming. Something powerful to soothe her nerves. So she set aside the usual, subtly scented linen sachets. Instead, she reached for a new concoction she'd been working on, an extra-strength, super-concentrated sachet packed to the brim with potent lavender from the high mountains. She lovingly tucked this aromatic powerhouse deep inside the Queen's freshly fluffed pillow, convinced she was providing the ultimate in royal comfort. The day of departure arrived. The grand carriage, polished to a mirror shine, stood ready. King Rolf, ever the cheerful optimist, helped Lelia inside. "Here we are, my dear," he said, patting the plush seat beside him. 3 days of adventure await. Lelia smiled, feeling a bit more at ease now that she was settled. She reached for her specially prepared pillow, ready to lean back and enjoy the journey. She nestled her head into its soft, downy depths, closed her eyes, and took a deep breath. It was a mistake, a catastrophic one. Instead of the gentle scent of clean air, an olfactory tsunami crashed over her. A sharp, horrified gasp escaped her lips. Her eyes snapped open, wide with shock and disbelief. "Rolf," she cried out, her voice a strangled whisper. "Rolf, what is this?" King Rolf looked over, concerned. "What is it, my love? Is the pillow not soft enough?" "The air," Lelia choked out, scrambling away from the pillow as if it were on fire. "It's a siege. It's an ambush in the air. It is heavy, sweet, and aggressive. This is not a scent. It is a chemical assault on my nerves." She waved a hand frantically in front of her face, trying to clear the fragrant cloud that seemed to be suffocating her. King Rolf, bless his less sensitive nose, leaned over and took a tentative sniff of the offending pillow. He inhaled deeply, a small smile playing on his lips. "It's lavender, my love," he said calmly. "Actually, it smells rather pleasant. Quite relaxing, I think." "Pleasant," Lelia exclaimed, her voice rising an octave. She sat bolt upright, clutching her temples as if to keep her head from exploding. "No, it is violently intense. It's like 1,000 tiny lavender stalks are marching up my nose and personally stabbing my olfactory nerves. I can practically see the individual pollen grains floating in the air, mocking me." In a fit of aromatic agony, she snatched the pillow and, with a dramatic flair worthy of the finest stage actress, flung it directly out the open carriage window. It sailed through the air in a graceful, purple-scented arc before landing in a ditch. "Stop the carriage," Lelia commanded the driver, her voice ringing with royal authority. The carriage shuddered to a halt. "We must find Agnes immediately." That pillow was not a comfort. It was a weapon. My finely tuned nose, a gift from the pea, cannot endure such aggressive aromatherapy. She looked at Rolf, her eyes still wide with the trauma of the experience. "We shall ride the rest of the way on cushions, scented only by clean, pure wind." And so the royal carriage continued its journey, with one fewer pillow but a great deal more fresh air, leaving a very confused king and a trail of potent lavender in its wake. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this little royal tale, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next story.